In January this year, 2015, my host today predicted the loss of Nigeria's current president, Goodluck Jonathan, in the 2015 presidential elections. He predicted that loss in his state, Ondo State, shortly after his governor, Olusegun Mimiko, moved from the Labour Party to the People's Democratic Party. Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajitumobi. Thank you for joining me on the program today. And so the elections have come and gone. We had presidential elections on March 28th and governorship elections on April the 11th. In addition to the presidential elections, we had elections into the National Assembly, also on March 28th, and on April 11th, we had elections into the Houses of Assembly. In Ondo State, the Independent National Electoral Commission's returning officer, Professor Oyewole Olushola, announced the results of the presidential elections as follows. For the All Progressives Congress, the votes were 299,889 votes. For the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the votes were 251,368 votes. The total number of registered voters in Ondo State is 1,501,804 voters. And the total number of voided votes was 21,379 votes. So what were the permutations electorally in Ondo State? And now that the All Progressives Congress's candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, has won the presidential elections in Ondo State in spite of the current governor's move to the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to campaign for Nigeria's current and outgoing president, Goodluck Jonathan. What can we expect in Ondo State? Join me after the break. I'm counting down 60 minutes with Benson Enikuomehin, who was the chairman of the Mobilization and Contact Committee of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State for the 2015 elections. Welcome back. Welcome, Mr. Enikuomehin. Thank you very much for coming to the program again.
It's a pleasure being here.
Well, you know, we haven't seen since the elections, March 28th, April 11th. Of course, you are now in the APC. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
You guys have moved into the presidential villa now. But I wanted us to start with an overview of the presidential elections first.
Very well.
You coming from the People's Democratic Party, you were a supporter of Nigeria's outgoing president, Goodluck Jonathan. Where do you think he got it wrong? A lot of people have listed some issues. The Governors Forum, for instance, 16 being more than 19 in that election within the forum, the missing Chibok girls, the former Central Bank of Nigeria's governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, whose suspension came after he raised allegations of missing funds, withdrawing Speaker Tambuwal's security. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And dissipation of the PDP. Some people are saying it was under President Jonathan's watch the People's Democratic Party has dissipated. Where do you stand with all this?
One of the philosophers said that an unexamined life is not worth living.
Yes.
Therefore, when a man embarks on a journey, it behooves him at every interval, if it's a road that he has not trod before, or even if he has gone on that road, but for a while, he needs to check, he needs to find out from passers-by, am I still on the track? If you do not do that,
Yes.
you may think that you are on the right track, whereas you've erred. It's quite sad that the figure 19 by the Nigerian political calculation
Yes.
is less than 16. It's absurd. I don't know whether those who brought about the numerical figures have since altered it. You allow a system to go the way it ought to go. You may have interest, but you will be seen as not interfering. If Mr. President had allowed the election that brought Governor Amechi to the chairmanship of Governors Forum, the following would have happened, and the following wouldn't have happened. And these are the following that will happen.
Right.
One, PDP will still take hold of the leadership of the Governors Forum. Two, PDP's voice will still be very cohesive. Three, the people that are the hem of affairs, particularly Governor Amechi, will still see Mr. President as a person whom he can back up. And because others believe in him, it will be a rallying point for him for the governor's support.
Yes.
The following wouldn't have happened. Governor Amechi wouldn't have become an antagonist of Mr. President. The 5 governors that left wouldn't have followed him to APC. The kind of support or sentiment or appreciation people gave to the 5 governors that left wouldn't have arisen. And then the criticism that knocked at the door of Mr. President for his intervention wouldn't have arisen.
Couldn't we say that Mr. President had the right to want his man to head?
Mr. President wasn't in support of Tambuwal becoming the Speaker of the House of Representatives. From what I heard, it was zoned to the Southwest. The leader of the House of Representatives, Mrs. Mulikat,
yes,
was supposed to be the person that was being supported. But as soon as Tambuwal emerged as a political watcher and as a dynamist, you immediately changed the tune and encouraged the favor of that person. I never supported you in the first instance, but by whatever means,
you've emerged.
Yes. Don't you think we can work as a team? Don't you think we can work together? Don't you think we can build our party? What are the issues you have? And then we talk these things behind the door. That, to a large extent, did not take place. We also saw that impunity as to how names of persons were changed, removed, brought in, became the order of the day. You will recall that Governor Olagunsoye Oyinlola was the former secretary of PDP. As soon as there appeared to be some differences between former President Obasanjo and the president, the advisors, the people who were perching on the crumbs that fall from the table of Mr. President, didn't see any reason to placate these parties. Yes. They began to fuel the ember of discord.
You think, in your opinion, it was a disservice to let Obasanjo and Oyinlola go?
Of course, yes. You do not allow strikers to just walk out of the field when you have a serious match to play. Obasanjo, with all intent and purpose, within the context of PDP then, was a striker. And his men were gradually being taken out of the way. And the man was not going to wash it.
Yes.
Was not going to listen. So the party structure was now skewed towards one side. Those who I could refer to as not the first team, but maybe the
second
11 or third 11,
yes,
or even fourth 11, now came up and became the first 11. And the first 11 relegated, and those ones were washing. And the opponents were beginning to beckon to them. You are beautiful brides. Please come over. And we must give that to APC to say, let's come on board. Yes. And so you have the crack within the Governors Forum, the crack within the party structure, and the opponent was also not sleeping.
Vibrant.
Yes. When the opponents discovered this, they now felt it was necessary to form a formidable party. I must concede this to APC, particularly Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Whether you like him or not,
love him or hate him,
Jagaban is Jagaban. I had witnessed a documentary in which one lion attacked the elephant. He couldn't do anything. What the lion did was to go and call others. And they became about 10, 15, 20. So while one was attacking in the front, the other one was attacking in the back, attacking, and before we knew what was happening, the elephant had fallen down. So the APC was attacking from the angle of ACN, generally from the southwest,
yes,
vocal in talking, powerful in the press, and you find them throwing jabs. So while they were throwing jabs, the people in the north were also gathering themselves, the CPC. So okay, we are not as phosphorus as you are, but we have the number. Go on and be registering. Go on and make sure that every one of you is registered. Let the South be blowing the English, so we will be registering. The PDP was still embroiled in its own internal crisis. You see the way the election came. APC had what we can call proper primary. It was well conducted. It in the glares of everyone. For almost about 2 or 3 days, they were here in Lagos, where General Muhammadu Buhari, President-elect, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Imo State Governor, the Governor of Kano State, Mr. Azayamda, all of them came, and election was keenly contested. In the case of PDP, they said there was no room to contest. You shut out everybody. Further to this, the Governor of Niger State had aforetime raised the issue of the gentleman agreement Mr. President had with them, the one-term agreement. Mr. President came and said he never had.
If you have the evidence, bring it forward.
Bring it forward.
Yes.
But these were facts known to us. So we now knew that this race that was going to be run, the sprinter from PDP was already suffering from Whitlow. Whitlow in all the toes in the leg. And so the kind of people you now have are the people you can describe as what we saw in the Holy Scripture, wherein King Ahab,
yes,
and Jehoshaphat were to go to war. And all the prophets of Baal began to tell Ahab, say, go to Ramoth Gilead and win. 400 of them. The Lord has given you victory. And Jehoshaphat said, are there no other prophets that can, prophets of God? Then Ahab said, I know of one Michael. He never speaks well of me, but for the purpose of this, let's call him me. And they called Michael. And Michael said, oh, why not? Everybody go, you win. And the king said, no, please speak the truth. And the man said, if you want the truth is that if you go to this war, I see all Israel scattered and nobody will escape. And one of those false prophets just came and landed a very resounding blow on the face of Prophet Micah. He said, how did the Lord leave me to go and talk to you? So we began to see these 400 prophets surrounding the president. So, Your Excellency, you are right. Your Excellency, Napoleon is always right.
Yes.
4 legs better, no, everything was okay. Even when things were not going on well. To worsen the whole thing, the president brought on board persons who managed his campaign. They managed to ruin his reputation. I mean, and I'm even surprised that the president had as much as that. Because the way the campaign of hate, they talk, you know, the underdog in the society is usually supported. Yes. So General Buhari does not
and thinking that President Jonathan was the underdog in 2011.
He was the underdog in 2011. And so everybody said, I didn't have shoe, I don't need the sense. Oh yes, but he said, we are going to support. Now that General Buhari came on board, they were beginning to bring issues that had to do with his children, his wife, whether he married one before that. It was quite disgusting. Yes. Each time I watched it, and I must just say, because these things happened, I would just switch off my television and go to another place. What was going on? Everybody threw caution into the winds. You could as well have gone ahead to go and bring a man where he was in the toilet to come and show him. These things are disgusting. And people will go as far as outside the country. I recall one of the aides of Mr. President went to the country and said, General Buhari is not educated, is not enlightened, and we can never hand over government to him. No, never. Nigeria will never allow. And they shouted him down. And these things began to come to the social media. And that is the advantage of what we have now. Yes. It's different from what happened in 1993 or 1988. Things have grown better. And we are well informed. Yes. So all these factors cumulated together. And the last straw that broke the camel's back was that Nigerians wanted a change. We have had 16 years of motion without movement. And we'll go forward, we'll come backward. We'll go forward. Stealing is not corruption. So if stealing is not corruption, what is corruption? And we accuse this person has done this person has done no, it was never wrong, and all that. So I think it is necessary when you tread on a path to become cautious. If President Jonathan ever has opportunity tomorrow, he will review this, that an unexamined life is not worth living.
Join us again after the break.
Who knows Abi better thing? Abi who no like better thing? All these fine things where they see so. Now money government they take do am now. Abi, I say, it's like, I mean, excuse me, I dey pay my tax. I dey do it, I dey pay my tax. Say you don't pay your own tax. Have you pay your tax?
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's 60 Minutes with me, Angela Ajetumobi. On my hot seat today, Benson Enikuomehin, the Chairman, Mobilization and Contact Committee of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State for the 2015 elections. So in your opinion, he's conceding. People have called him a hero for that. Do you agree?
I think Mr. President scored well. Sometimes when you say a man steals the show, that is what we can call proper stealing of the show.
Did you expect that he would concede defeat so quickly?
Yes, looking at,
even before Borno results came in.
Looking at the demeanor of Mr. President,
yes.
I will say this, notwithstanding I'm in the opposition now. Not in the opposition, we are in the ruling party
now. Yes.
They are in the opposition. So notwithstanding this particular fact, when a man does well, let's commend it. Some of us should transcend the era of just party politics and then just speak anyhow. I think he conceding has done the following. One, it has placed him on a high pedestal of a quality leader among Committee of Nations. Most of the Western worlds will crumble underneath the weight of what President Jonathan has done. When we are rating them, we will rate President Jonathan higher than they do. Further to this, he conceding has also placed Nigeria as a country to behold, as a country to emulate. In Africa, I don't know yet of any president who has gone the level in which he has gone. And that's why I said an unexamined life is not worth living. I'm sure the man would have looked at the various scenarios. I am going to be alone at the end of the whole day. And therefore, I should bequeath to this country a legacy of peace. And when you look at the president, without sounding to knowing him, on one or two occasions I've had the privilege of being there when I was on the board of NDDC. You see the man calm. He will be the one that will leave wherever he was receiving visitor and will come and call the next person. Not send anybody. I'm talking of what I witnessed. And so you can see him calm character. But you see, when you see some violent characters that surround you, you must be careful to see how to chisel them out of the way. And I think at that particular point, knowing fully well that if it goes otherwise, some hawks who were ready to fight, who were ready to destabilize the country, and the destabilization will not be to the administration, it will be the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. My people say the king that rules and the community is at peace, we have a name. The one that rules and the community is in turmoil, has challenges, he will also have a name. And therefore, for him to get a good name, he went ahead and did this. Fantastic, beautiful. See the calmness that came to the country. You can see he is now at peace. He can walk on the roads unaided without anybody stoning him. But if he had listened to some hawks, some persons who want to benefit, who don't even have a name, they cannot even contest election and win in their world. You know, some persons fail in their unit. Either a chairman of a board or a minister, and all. That means they are not relating with the people within that locality. We're not talking about ward, unit. or 500 or something persons.
If your people can't vote for
if
you,
they can't
your
vote for
unit,
your unit, then you are a disaster. I won in my unit. The presidential election, we won. The House of Rep, we won. The Senate, we won. Even the turbulent House of Assembly election that took place in Ondo State, yes, we still won. And not winning with 5 marginal, not 10, not 15, yes, not 20, not 30. Therefore, his conceding has earned him disrespect. And I sent a text to some of his aides as soon as that announcement came in the airwave that, sir, you said it and you have done it. You said if you are defeated, you will concede and you will congratulate. And that we have always congratulated people that have won before. Now that it is your own turn and you have done it, I said in my word, I said, you are a gentleman and you are a great man. Whether they brought it to his attention or not, it's another thing entirely. That again is a lesson to everyone. That whenever you assume position of authority, yes, do know it has a tenure. It has a time limit, and that the day of reckoning will come, either to ignominy or to fame. Yes, one of them will come.
And the day of reckoning almost came for the APC in Lagos State. It was a close shave. The message of change almost backfired on the APC in Lagos.
Yes, the one of Lagos, and I can tell you the background to what transpired in Lagos. Two populous states in Nigeria, Kano and Lagos. Yes. In 2011, Lagos gave over 1 million votes to the outgoing president after discussion with the leaders of ACN then. Yes. And they also know that Lagos can repeat same. When you compare the infrastructural development that the governor of Lagos State has brought to bear. I am no longer resident here, but yes, one of my law offices is still here in
Lagos. Yes.
And whatever Governor Fashola has done, the gentleman has done well. You see, you travel at night. Yes. And you see that they are no longer using generator for the purpose of lightening the streets of Lagos. I heard on television my brother, my townsman from the same part of the world, Ebuade Borua, yes, commending the Lagos State governor for the street light. He said in Lekki that day and night it is on. Marvelous street. You come to Lagos, you can drive at night. You are no longer scared of these troublesome guys who disguise in the name of rascals, yes, causing mayhem. It is rare. The last one we heard of robbery, which happened around the Ziaja or something, yes, area, was long time ago. What did he do? How did he do it? Do we talk about the way he has handled Lagos? Yes, some persons will complain that we have taxes and all the rest of them, but you should know, here is Lagos in the opposition. Here is Lagos that is going through the weight of the federal mind. And therefore, when the president realized that the Southwest was going to be a determining factor in who becomes the president of Nigeria, he now shifted to Lagos. And he was here. He was not only here in person, he was here in person and in material and in whatever dimension you can talk about. Reaching across to people, please do. At least to do what we call damage control.
Yes, but did he have to wait for the last 6 weeks to do that?
And that's why I said the unexamined life is not worth living. These are things you have anticipated. That here is a geopolitical zone that was not part of your government in the real sense of it. The vice president is not from here. Senate president is not from here. Speaker is not from here. The deputy senate president not from here.
Well, the chief of staff of the president was from
When
Ondo.
did that one come in? That one was in Edo before. He was in Edo. It was Ogadoma that was there. Ogadome that was there. When last was General Arubafa brought in. As at that time, mines were already being made up. It was like what we call palliative measure. Yes. Palliative measure is not the real measure. So at this time, things are falling apart. The center could no longer hold. And so that one came in, and you could see, you could look at it and see the coordinating minister of economy not from here. And you just kept these well-informed, articulated, viral, people that know their onion, people that can stand you on the face and say, hey man, you can't do this. That is what I refer to leaving your striker out of the match. Because If the Southwest had told the line of Mr. President, the election would have gone the other way around. General Buhari, the president-elect, would have won in the 19 states in the north. Probably he may even have majority of the votes, but he won't have met the requirement 25. of two-thirds of all the states in Nigeria, which will be 24 out of 36. So, meanwhile, President Jonathan had infiltration into some of the states, particularly in the north central. And he had some 25% some of those areas. So, if you had added Southwest to it, Lagos, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Ekiti, to it, he would have had an edge. So, the APC guys, the gentlemen, they knew what they were doing. And therefore, they had an ally with them, with the north and the northwest. The northwest, the northeast, and the north central. And they struck. And that brought the victory which we are talking. So when it came to Lagos, therefore, the president needed to be here to douse that. It's like the last minute rush in an exam for examination. To say, let me just pick anything. And he was here. When he now lost in the presidential election, Lagos was the only thing left for them in the southwest. It cannot take care of the mirage of people that are in PDP. It's not possible. On those
you mean financially?
In all ramifications. And I don't intend to join issues now. It is having its own share of the trouble that they brought upon themselves. On those states, the government has already been messed up. In that the man who coordinated for the southwest of the president could not even win his own senatorial district. These are factors. And therefore, where do we go? So the next place to go was to say, let us come to Lagos.
And capture it.
And capture Lagos. Willy-nilly. And then arguments, we must win Lagos, we must win Lagos. And the people of Lagos now have to sit down. What do we do? So the president and everybody to say, the miniature of Nigeria is Lagos. If you hold Lagos, you are, at least you'll be breathing. So the APC now came together. Governor Fashola, the leader of the party, and even the president-elect. He now came to Lagos and said, you were once in opposition. Now I am at the center. I am in charge. I can assure you, if you vote for APC, this I will do for you. That also was a damage control to the financial inducement that PDP, APC does not have 1/40 of what PDP has financially. And you know, human beings, we usually trail towards whoever brings any financial inducement. Money was flying like they're flying over in Lagos, everywhere. Some of us were just praying. APC still led close to about 160 or 170,000 merchants. That also shows to you that in the southwest, there was what we call proper election. So if somebody had scored 30,000, another one had scored 1,700,000 and something, you would have known that something had gone wrong. So in Lagos, it was competition. Those in government were on their toes. And may I commend Governor Fashola? I think a day or two before the election, he addressed the state. And look at the choice of his words. He will say, you need to find out a government that has brought light for you. You need to find out that this waterworks at Iju, that which was in the capacity, I don't know the capacity, but now it is maximally used. You need to know government that has done this for you. And you go on the Ikorodu road. Man, I traveled that road last night. From that mile 12 down to Ikorodu, it's a sight to behold. He may not have done that across all the length and breadth of Lagos State. But that is something. You can see it. Like somebody said that Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu dreamt for Lagos State. He is the dreamer. That Governor Fashola is the actualizer of the dream. And that the coming in of Ambode is the consolidation of the dream. And that was what happened. And so for Lagos, you see, it was like fighting for the scrambling of Africa when the Europeans came. And so PDP came with all the pang and the venom in them to fight. But like you see, no matter the struggle of the leaf, once it is yellow, it must fall down. And they fell.
Join us again after the break.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question.
Great question, Angela.
Angela, that is a very great question.
That's a great question.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question.
That's a good question.
This is an interesting question you put.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
So what is 60 Minutes with Angela all about? It's not an interview. I like to think it's a conversation between two people making the news, people who are in the news, and those who become the news. And the whole idea is to inform, to educate, or to clarify, as the case may be. It is an art getting people to answer the questions that everyone is thinking in their minds. And that's what we try to do on 60 Minutes with Angela. I ask all the questions that everyone's thinking about and no one wants to voice. All the questions you always wanted to ask, you get those answers on 60 Minutes with Angela. Every week on this station, 60 Minutes with Angela, getting answers to every question you always wanted to ask. Welcome back. My concluding moments now with Mr. Benson Enikuomehin. In January this year, 2015, you predicted President Jonathan's loss in Ondo. I think that was soon after the return of Governor Mimiko to the PDP. You actually said that with that return, the president was going to lose in Ondo State. What were your reasons for saying that?
When Governor Mimiko came into PDP in Ondo State, precisely October 2nd, 2014, we noticed something. In what I was taught, I have a teaching background, but told that you go from simple to complex and not complex to simple. We expected that the governor would first and foremost harness his home base, that is the PDP in Ondo State, as his constituency, before going to Abuja for the declaration. None was aware that he was going to Abuja.
Wait, pause a little minute. You mean he was defecting to the PDP?
Yeah.
He didn't involve the PDP in Ondo State in that defection?
We all heard it the way you people watch it on television. How many PDP leaders followed him to that place? We should have carried him. The first thing to do was to call us, gentlemen, you know we had been at war, quote and unquote.
Yes.
The Labour Party, after that I had moved away from that place. Yes. The Labour Party and PDP had been at a loggerhead. Things were not at ease with them. You now go upstairs to now come and say, don't worry, the persons who are here are nobody. And therefore, Abuja, take me in and then I will give order the boys that are put in the farm will farm for me. And that was what happened. And as soon as he came into the party, we have also thought the structures he met in the party, there is a way you will placate them. If you are coming into PDP and you know these persons are likely to be antagonistic to you, you walk to their leaders, move in and talk to them. Gentlemen, we have been at loggerhead, but I think we can work together now. Yes. What are the terms? What are the things we will do? We never had that opportunity.
Yes, but what about the fact that he was bringing a state, an oil-producing state, to the PDP?
And he brought the oil-producing state, and then it became the oil doom state for the PDP. The PDP is now a recipient of what he had brought. That was the impunity that was going on in PDP. And so PDP in Abuja got it wrong. As soon as he came, like a conquered territory, brought the Labour Party officers and sent away the PDP officers of the party and put them there.
Not that he took 2/3 of the position.
What are you saying? Everything, sent everybody away. It was like a commando kind of a thing. Though. The first thing we saw that the Labour Party office, which was at number 6, Bishop Fagun Road.
Yes, in Ondo.
In Akure, was turned to PDP overnight. And we said, this is not PDP secretariat. PDP secretariat is at 86 Oyemekun Road. So we now have 2 state PDP offices. The way you are looking at me was the way everybody was looking. And we wrote to Abuja, what is going on? They said, he is the leader of the party. Nobody says you are not the leader of the party. You are coming as governor, agreed. But there are people whom you have met here who are grassroots persons, who when they go to their community and they say, this is the way you are going.
I mean, the deputy governor, that is the deputy governor to Governor Mimiko, do you know him? Because you know what you're saying to me about a defection happening in Abuja, not involving the PDP in Ondo State.
Now wait.
I read his story, how you know, he wasn't informed about the defection?
My sister, don't go far. I am on ground. Alhaji Ali Olanusi, the deputy governor of Ondo State,
yes,
was the former chairman of PDP in Ondo State. He was the piloting chairman that led PDP to victory during the Governor Olusegun. So it was when the Governor Mimiko, with some things that happened in PDP, then all of them got annoyed
and left.
During the second term of Governor Mimiko, he was voted on the platform of Labour Party without talking to us, without discussing with anybody. The man carried the mandate and threw it overboard and went to join PDP. The deputy governor was not privy to his defection. Everybody watched him on screen on the second. The day he was decamping, he said he was decamping because he wanted to campaign for Mr. President. Was the deputy governor there? He was not there. And the old man now said, come. At what age? Baba should be around 73 now.
And he says, from what I read, he said he actually wanted to go to the PDP earlier on.
That is correct.
And Governor Mimiko prevailed upon him not to do
as
so.
As soon as the governor came to PDP and the man saw what was going on, the old man just stayed alone. He said, I can't go with you the way you are handling this PDP, the way it is being done. It was 1 week, one trouble. Today, if he was not fighting with Chief Olushola, tomorrow he was fighting with Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim. If he was not fighting with Breman, he was fighting with Alabi. If he was not fighting with Alabi, Benson Enikuomehin would be on the list. It was like that. And everybody began to complain.
Do you think it is fair for the deputy governor to remain in that seat now? I mean, it looks like...
This is the truth. The man must remain there. And this is the reason. We gave the governor the mandate in Labour Party. He threw the mandate away and went to PDP. Whom did he consult before he went to PDP? You see, those who come to equity, they must come with clean hands. The hands of the government, with greatest respect to His Excellency, in this regard, are one, legally not clean and morally not right. The governor is not the appointer of the deputy governor. The two of them, by law, are joint venture to the office of the governor and the deputy governor.
So the governor can sack
the deputy. He is not competent. With greatest respect, he does not have that right. The governor of Niger State is deputy, moved to APC. He remains in PDP.
Yes.
The governor of Jigawa State is deputy, moved to APC. He is in PDP. The governor of Rivers State is in APC. His deputy has moved to PDP.
So what do we do in this case when obviously maybe one party is tired of the partnership? Shouldn't the other one resign?
The partnership is not tied on the platform of party.
Of one person?
No, it's not. It is tied on the platform of a ticket that brought you together. CME strings, you need serious surgery to do. The surgery that can be used for the purpose of this will be to impeach the person. And what are the grounds? You must find out that by section 308 that it must be by reason of misconduct, gross misconduct.
Gross misconduct.
I am not in the cabinet of Alhaji Olanusi, but I know as of a fact that Baba did not have access to anything that has to do with management of funds. In fact, no portfolio under his under him. No.
He wasn't allocated any duties.
I said no.
A deputy governor?
I can tell you that a commissioner in that state will be more powerful than the deputy governor. Go and conduct investigation. It's
not a secret.
I am telling you, I talk authoritatively on this fact. Even is what we call it, the impress and all that has been slashed. And so, you cannot remove him. If governor says he wants to remove you on the ground that he defected from the party, you governor defected. So you should be the one that should bear the blame. So, with all the scheming that is going on in Ondo State, they should just allow the old man, let the sleeping dog lie.
And let him
because
finish his term.
Those who live in glass house should dare not throw stones. If they do, for those of us who are in mud houses, when we carry the pebbles and the stones and we begin to land on those things that are happening in the state, Governor Agagu left 38 billion in that state coffer. The argument was, oh, a number of contractors were owed money and therefore they were being paid. These contractors that you said you are paid, they are PDP. Up till now, they have not received money. So whom did you pay? The dome that was said to be built for 1.8 billion. The dome has become a doom there. 6 years ago, all the road construction, the one in Ondo town, the one that goes to Obaile, we see them there. Nothing is going on. The cement factory At Okeluse, 5.7 billion naira had been expended on it, and you go and see the place, it's as plain as football field. To go ahead and instigate students and boys to come and cause confusion and say you want to impeach the deputy governor, please take note that by the time the Ifeno starts to burn, it may consume people you don't think will be consumed. Those who are willing to throw stones now, they should be careful that they are carrying Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Their soldiers may be the one who cannot escape it, because we know much more than they think we do know.
I want us to talk about the election before you go.
It is what the people wanted to say.
Because look at the figures now. APC 299,889. That's 299,889 votes.
Yes.
PDP had 251,368 votes. There were 1.5 million registered voters. Voided votes were 21,379. But people were shocked that the APC won in Ondo State.
Those who were shocked were people who were not on ground. There is this grandstanding of talking on television, and as against the facts on ground, we were on ground. We knew where the house was leaking. We knew the boat was leaking. We knew that there was no way of rescue. And then somebody went to Abuja to tell the president, I will give you 1 million votes. And the question was this: when the governor contested his election in 2012, what was the total vote he had? I was his chief returning agent. He had 259. He could not deliver 1 million for himself. Nemo that quod non habet. You cannot give what you don't have. As at that time, the reputation of the government was still high. It has now gone abysmal low because of non-performance. Promises broken, and therefore, the people of Ondo State spoke loudly that we wanted the change. And we wanted to show to Abuja that it is not enough to have a governor. You must have a governor that have the people supporting him.
That is on the ground.
That is on the ground. In the Senate, out of the 3 senators, we have 2. Members of the House of Rep, we have 5. They had 4. The governor could not even deliver in his domain. He only had 1. Akure South, Akure North, which is his own senatorial district. He lost. Idori. He lost. The senator in Akure, in Ondo South, he lost. And it was only Ondo South, the likes of Barrister Jimo Ibrahim, Chief Olushola, who has also come to APC now, and a number of them that delivered for PDP. He didn't deliver.
You mean Chief Olushola is in APC now?
APC is a train. It's leaving Lagos to Kano. You better join it. If you miss it at Ido, stay at Agege and ensure that you join the train. And then we're asking them to come on board. We won't ask anybody to leave. Everyone to come on board and join us. But you see, I am quick to say this. You cannot stop a sinner from coming to church to repent. But you cannot hand over the pulpit to the sinner the day he comes. He can come to the church, repent. He should go through training.
Yes.
The church services, church ordinances. Yes. You can't come to the church the same day and say you want to become the pastor of that church. It's not possible. But you won't disallow you from coming to the church. So those who are joining, they can join us. Go through the training, go through the learning processes, and the pastor will still be in charge of the church. In Ondo State, therefore, we spoke out. That was what happened on March 28th. But April 11th, the government knew with what has happened, if they did not do anything, something drastic, then APC will have majority in the House, and APC will be asking questions on these things I have raised. What happens to our money? Like, for example, an average larger person should ask, what has happened to Osopadek money? It's now close to almost 60 billion. What has happened to it? Tell us what. We are not asking you to do it, just tell us. How did you manage the money? Questions will be asked. And if there are no genuine answers given, then we begin to say, let the world hear me. And therefore, the government became desperate. Some of us will survive by the grace of God.
On April 11th.
I'm telling you, in my own local government, it's a watch in the papers. It was like we're having a civil war. Guys were brought into the vehicle and armed, AK-47, if there was even AK-90. They were there shooting sporadically.
Why? So that people wouldn't come out to vote?
Scare people and tell the ballot box to go and thumbprint. But luck ran against some of them. The Navy stopped them. and then they took the Navy on in the what they call gun battle. The federal government should, by this medium, look into what transpired in Ilaje.
That's I have those Ilaje 1 and 2.
Exactly, not less than 2 on the 11th of April. Were gunned down by the Navy because they took the Navy on. The Navy was going to sack them on the water. What are you carrying? They seized the boat. The boat is still at another place in the Bokoda. They seized the gun. I think about eight rifles together with some ammunition were recovered. 2 of them went. It is the truth. I am from that place. And this was what happened. And it was war in Ayetoro, in Ilowo. In fact, in Ilowo, they went and beat up the chairman of APC, collected 110,000 naira from him, money meant for his party members, for their transportation and agents and all the rest of them, beat them up, took those guys' names are known, the federal government. If they want the election to be held in Ilaje, the supplementary election, whatever election it is, they should first and foremost go and clean up this. Or else, politicians will no longer be useful in that area. It will now be hoodlums who will take over the place. To win election, you don't need Dr. Enikuomehin. All you need to go and meet the hoodlum who has guns, who has machetes, to go and kill. And these things should not be allowed. And this also was what transpired in Akure and all those domains. I was speaking to one of our leaders in Ondo town. When she reeled out what she went through, you will be told, where are you thumbprinting? And say, let me go and vote. And say, you know, the way the ballot was made,
yes.
If it was up, you will know that
APC was at the top.
If it's down, you know it is PDP.
Yes.
Once you carry your hand toward the top, this, you will be beating hollow.
Okay, let's say this is the ballot paper.
Exactly.
APC is always at the top.
Exactly.
Here, and
so when they are going to thumbprint,
yes.
If you put your hand this
at
way,
the top,
the hoodlums are already there. They know
they can see your finger.
They can see your fingerprint. They will beat you mercilessly. But if you put your hand down here, you are entitled to 1,000 or 2,000. It was money sharing spirit. The government house for 2 days, people were going there collecting money. Okada people lined the road. These are facts. They can't deny it. When I talk, I don't just talk because I want to talk. I talk with facts and figures. You know, as a lawyer, if you talk and these things are not real, you know what it entails. Yes. So let them deny that on the 8th, 9, and 10, that there were no queue of Okada people in front of government house. You will go in, change your clothes, go and collect again.
Oh, people were changing outside.
Oh, of course, yes. You just go, you change your clothes. If you are wearing black before, you wear red. No, your face will not be. You just put on one sunshade, collect your 2,000 and walk away. That was what transpired in Ondo State. And on the day of election, come and see thoughts everywhere. Nonetheless, people still voted for us. APC. So if we don't need this in the board now, you can imagine what will transpire in 2012 when the governorship election is going to be held.
2016.
2016 rather. You can imagine what will happen if this number of guns and machetes were brought out and the reverend was worse up. In SLD, the presidential election, the president had just 4,000 votes.
Yes.
And then they had over 24,000. Card reader. It was hand reader. People were just doing what they liked. In the whole world, Oparamo 1 and Oparamo 2, 6,000 votes were allocated to PDP, with APC having 0. That means there were no members of the party in that place. So all the executive members which we chose, 26 of them in each ward, they didn't vote for...
They all voted for PDP.
For PDP. And the agent also voted for PDP. 3,000 to 0, 3,000 to 0. Wonder shall never end.
Thank you very much, Mr. Enikuomehin, for coming back on the program. I'm still going to keep my eye on Ondo State.
Please, not only eye. Put hand, put nose, put everything. Come to the town and ask people this question. Do you know that when a man wins, he rejoices? When you succeed, you should rejoice. Yeah. They won, they couldn't rejoice. This alleged victory, they couldn't rejoice. So how could somebody have succeeded? You are Man U or whatever, I don't want to offend players. Yeah. Maybe Chelsea beats Man U 3-0 and the fans of Chelsea are not rejoicing. They are looking gloomy. You can imagine that ridicule. That was what happened in Ondo State. Nobody could rejoice.
Thank you very much for coming back on the program, Mr. Enikuomehin. Thank you. And that's it for this week. You can like 60 Minutes with Angela on Facebook, or alternatively, follow me on Twitter, Angela at 60 Minutes. I'm Angela Ajitumobi. Thank you for watching.